no filter in sight. Jason's got the insights, always gets it right. Sean's the wild card with a laugh in the night. On FolkLOOR, they banter about the latest fight. FolkLOOR podcast, stories non-stop, entertainment, gossip, and tech's new crop. Loud opinions, like a punk rock bob. Marcus, Jason, Sean, they never drop.
Hey everybody!
Boy.
Welcome back to another episode of the FolkLOOR podcast. I'm Marcus, CEO and founder of Lore, with Jason Farley and Sean Tomlin. Welcome, guys.
Thanks. Good to be here.
It's good to be here. Is there a new lyric in this song? It sounds a little different.
No, it's the exact same.
It's the exact. Wow, I was like, wait, I don't remember that lyric.
Well,
It's just the depth. The depth. There's always something new.
A lot of layers to that
we
song.
are back. We are back again. And first off, thanks to everybody that's been watching and sharing and commenting and engaging with the show. It's great to see the support, like especially this early on, as we're just kind of like going back and forth with it and figuring out what the show and tone is. So we're very excited to have you guys here. We got an interesting show today. We're going to talk about Kim Hill, who is the member of the Black Eyed Peas that you're not familiar with, that you might not know about, and why she left the Black Eyed Peas. We're also going to be talking about Saturday Night Live, the 50th year anniversary. Anybody see that? Did you all watch that? Jason, Sean, did you get to see it?
I got a little snippet. Yeah, I'm in Italy.
Do they air Saturday Night Live in Italy?
They haven't translated it yet for me here to Italian, but I did see the Jeopardy skit.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that, and then also the Wall Street Journal has said that lore, 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 is becoming the hip word of the year for Gen Z folks, and we'll go into that article. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get into the Saturday Night Live 50-year anniversary, which I watched. But just to be clear, I watched everything about the Saturday Night Live 50-year anniversary. I watched the music documentary, the 4-episode documentary series about Saturday Night Live on Peacock, and then I think like NBC News did a 50-year anniversary piece. I did not finish watching that, but I started that, and then of course the actual live 50th anniversary show. And the music. They did the music concert too. Saw that, and let's just say my wife is very happy that period of my life is over. she was done. She
got
done
SNL out.
She got SNL'd out. She said, "Did you watch Saturday Night Live last night?" I was like, "No, honey, that was the concert. This is the main event." So, it was great. It was great. It was just I just want to say, like, it's so, when you look around, you see that you have something that's been around for 50 years as influential as Saturday Night Live. It's incredible. I mean, like, the Super Bowl has been around that long too, right? So this is like the 59th Super Bowl this year. But in terms of, I think, what the culture and what has been generated as a result of Saturday Night Live, outside of Saturday Night Live, has been insane. Whereas, like, I think the Super Bowl really benefits football and those things around football. Obviously, like commercials and potato chips and beer all benefit from it. But I think, like, when you look at, like, there's $28 billion in revenue. I calculated it thanks to Grok 3.
We calculated it.
We did the work. We did the hard work and the analysis, and there's like $28 billion just in revenue from movies and TV shows that from people that have come through the Saturday Night Live ecosystem and incubation chamber, and that's just of the main ones that they calculated. That doesn't count, all the offshoot stuff. I don't even think what's the the woman who the Catholic schoolgirl that puts her fingers
Oh
in her
yeah.
eye.
Molly
Like,
Shannon.
yeah, like those
Everyone do your
Lord,
Molly Shannon.
yeah, those B tier movies, I don't even think were calculated as part of it, but like, just like the main things, 28 billion in revenue for movies and TV shows that did include Parks and Recreation and their value to streaming platforms and all that other sort of stuff. Like 4 billion in TV and 24 billion in movies, Blues Brothers, Wayne's World, all those sort of IPs and stuff that came from it. Just a tremendous amount. And it probably doesn't even include like the amount of commercial dollars and revenue that just came from, let's say, Conan O'Brien's late night show,
Right.
and stuff like that. And then looking to see, Conan gets platformed as a result of Lorne Michaels. He has this show now, and then all the comedians and entertainment and sketches that come from just that show, completely separate from Saturday Night Live, but it's all part of the same family tree, and you just realize this is all of entertainment,
Yeah.
right? Like, this is all of entertainment basically in the past 50 years, at least the comedy scene, but there's so much more than that. But I mean, just I just think it's something we need to study and learn, and try to figure out sort of what's next, like what's going to be the thing when Lorne Michaels goes away, assuming that they don't bring in Higgins as the rightful heir as he should
Right.
be. And it all goes to crap. What's going to replace that? That's really the key. So Jason, what do you think is going to replace Saturday Night Live?
I don't know. See, because it's definitely the end of an era, because it came through when there really was still significant mass media. There's just a few channels and even though it's on late, it becomes something that everybody's watching, talking about, and the whole comedy industrial complex has been decentralized so much that it's really hard to say. But I think what the effect that it's had is that you have such a wide variety of comedians, comedy writers, styles of comedy, sketch comedy, all of those things that used to be, there used to be a very small, one of the moments that really hit me was when they did all of the fake commercials. They did the cutting together all the fake commercials, and you just go, they invented that. And now they're all over the place, but they invented that and then reinvented it over and over and over through the years. They never got stuck in a rut. I mean, every once in a while they did. Some casts got stuck in a rut.
Crazy too to think about is like they kind of invented digital sketch comedy.
Digital sketch comedy.
Like,
Yep.
YouTube was out, like it really didn't reach like peak digital sketch comedy. So I'm talking like Chappelle, Key and Peele, even that stuff, and then of course all the YouTubers and stuff that come out as a result of that all came as a result of the Lonely Island, who did 100 different episodes. Like first off, that's an insane number. 100 of anything is insane in television, right? That's why like I don't know if you know, it's like Severance is produced by a company called Fifth Season Productions, right? And so Fifth Season was the magic syndication number for television because that's when a TV show reached 100, and then once it reached 100, it could go into syndication and make a lot more money. So, like when Severance is like Fifth Season Productions, that's where that comes from, and the significance of that. And then so for Lonely Island to do 100 episodes of that is just tremendous. Like that's a tremendous thing, and congrats on Adam Sandberg and Lonely Island for that. But obviously the SNL 50 didn't come without controversy, especially among conservative circles. And so I want to pull this up. I'm gonna try to pull up. I'm gonna pull it up and go right to the bit so that we don't get copyright flagged too much. But there's this scene here with Tom Hanks towards the end, and this is Black Jeopardy, by the way, which is a classic Saturday Night Live sketch that they brought back for this. And so the controversy here is regarding Tom Hanks and his MAGA hat, and I want us three to analyze whether or not like how anti-conservative, anti-Republican, anti-MAGA was this joke, and if it was as bad as conservative rage bait would like us to think.
This is the thing that caused the Megyn Kelly meltdown, right? This.
Did Megyn Kelly have a meltdown over this?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't she a never Trumper?
No, not necessarily. She didn't like what he said about her, but I don't think she's ever been.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, let's watch this.
Doug, thank you. That is the church lady. $400 for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Hey, now speaking of church, can I say something? If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No.
Oh, no.
Like that.
Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome in Black Jeopardy anytime.
Oh, well, all right. Well, thank you, my brother. Maybe I'll start a show for you to come on, and we'll call it What Jeopardy?
No. We don't need it. Slow it down.
Okay, so that was the bit, and obviously it was perfect rage bait for a lot of conservative commentators to come out and complain that Saturday Night Live, of course, is being anti-conservative and they have a liberal bias, and we hear it over and over again every season, every season, and so. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that joke. I'll tell you mine. I'll start. I don't think the joke was as well written as it could have been. So I think the joke is you have a guy, he has a MAGA hat, he's a racist, and then the guy comes over to shake his hand. He thinks he's going to get robbed. But then they wind up shaking hands, and he gets an invite to the show. There's actually unity there, like if you in the context of the sketch. I don't think it was that clear, and just Tom Hanks doesn't like Trump, so there's obviously that element in there as well. He's a big Hollywood elitist, and probably been on Epstein's plane a few times. We'll find out in a few days.
Hey, that's another band name, by the way. That's another band name.
What
Epstein's
is
plane?
Epstein's plane. I heard they're opening up for John Boy's Wart.
John Boy's Wart and Epstein's plane. That's fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, like honestly, that didn't bother me that much. When I saw it, what bothered me was I knew there was going to be reaction to it.
Right.
But as far as like the joke as a whole, I think there's a complete beginning, middle, and end to that joke that made sense and wasn't as bad. Especially, well, you go ahead, Jason. I'll get to the other.
Sean, you go first.
Okay. Well, first of all, you do have to see the whole piece and the whole context of the piece, and there's a lot of unity in that piece. So there's something nice about that. When you take that end joke out of context, it does, for me. The thing about comedy is comedy reinforces a narrative, and that shtick about the white guy with the MAGA hat being racist, even though it's funny, it's in the context of SNL, it's still reinforcing an idea that unfortunately is not as true as what people think. So it's like your average person who's wearing that hat isn't racist.
Right.
They're actually the opposite.
I think you're right. I think that's why the joke falls flat, right?
That's why the joke falls flat, because it's like, gosh, couldn't you guys do better than that? Like this is like third grade comedy you're doing right here, and it's not funny. But that whole piece as a whole is pretty darn funny, and yeah. So
yeah, the whole sketch is great.
Yeah, well, I just don't like that reinforcement of that idea. I know it's a joke, but it's like, can we stop reinforcing this idea that's actually just not
here's
true?
the thing. Here's the thing. They did it, but I don't think it succeeded. I actually don't think that joke landed. Right? Like even when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is you have this sort of it's very easy to have this like liberal bubble in New York City for New York City comedy writers, right? Where they're just in New York, and the Saturday Night Live writers are like eating pizza, barely watching the news, and they're just focused on writing these. So they know what they know, and then they write this joke, and it just kind of falls flat, or it laughs during dress because you have a a liberal New York City audience that think it's funny, and then it just doesn't land. But I think we live in a time now, which is so great, where you actually can come out and go, yeah, that joke didn't land because most of the black guys in Atlanta voted for Trump.
Right. Well, and I think
Right?
in the context in the context of the original sketch too, it was out of character, because in the original sketch there wasn't racism at all. In the original
Right.
sketch, it was the guy from the trailer park, the white guy from the trailer park that's a conservative, having the exact same answers to all of the questions as all of the black contestants. And in the original sketch, it was the point was, now you've got all these MAGA people that are basically have all the same opinions as all the black people. and so
That's right.
that was a really funny sketch, because the point was, you all think we're all different, but in reality we're all exactly the same.
But here's the thing though, but sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, but that moment when he doesn't want to shake his hand was so out of character from the previous character, where they end in this like great unity, that I was like, that joke doesn't even make any sense. It's like,
Right.
you have changed the character from people that all are just they're all living on common sense, and so they're all the people in New York don't get why they all agree.
But the thing is they're being really funny up to a point, and then like, okay, we got to stop being funny now and inject our social commentary.
Yeah, exactly.
They ramrodded social commentary, and it
That's
was
right.
like, oh man, did you just do that? Like you were doing so well.
You were doing so well, because it
here's the great
being
thing.
about being funny, and all of a sudden it's like we do have to at least make a point though, and that's when you ruin comedy.
Yeah. But also too, I think that's what's great about Saturday Night Live being a live show. Like you can't edit that out and go, oh, that joke didn't land. Like, you have to do it, and you have to like just push through it, and when it doesn't land, like, it's already out there, right? And so
Yeah.
But I would argue too, like, one of the great moments in this 50-year anniversary special was actually towards the end of the show, where they did that in memoriam scene, and they put up all the bad racist jokes and stuff that they've told over the course of this past 50 years, and they put it up, like, like that's kind of what's funny about it, is like, if it was truly canceled, they wouldn't have just aired it all in front of everybody. So you do get this interesting sort of this interesting sort of inconsistency among like the history of Saturday Night Live and where Saturday Night Live is now, and like kind of where it's going, where because Saturday Night Live is reflective of the culture in which the decade in which it's made is probably right. So now we're coming out of this 2016 to 2025 decade period where everything was anti-Trump, everything was leftist. It was cool to be seen as political and stuff in your comedy, and now you're getting into like a different class of comedians on Saturday Night Live, like oh, what's that new one? Like that new girl that's on there. Her name is Jane. But like she's only in like one or two scenes every now and then like every time she kills it, and she does the piano music that's just awful on Weekend Update. So you're starting to see like this new talent first year, and they're starting to like, they're not political at all, and they're starting like that. This is where everything is kind of heading and moving out of this direction that it's been in. But that's the value of a show that can fail not only one episode, but can fail for 1 or 2 seasons in a row, and SNL still gives it time, and then it comes out of it and figures it out and comes back. And that's why you see like Michael Che and Colin Jost, who are just at the top of their game right now. I didn't even know they were like the longest running Weekend Update hosts ever either. I didn't even realize that. It shows.
Do you guys think it's coming back next year, or do you think that this is the last year?
What's Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
No,
they haven't announced if it's coming back next year or not.
Oh, it's gonna. I'm sure it's
no.
You have a prediction going on here?
I think Lauren is retiring, and I don't know. It might not come back. We'll see.
They're like that institution is too valuable to at least
not give it a shot without Lauren.
They're gonna give it to Tina Fey. Everybody knows they're giving it to Tina Fey. They've been grooming her for this she's producing and directing, and she's doing all this. She's had a successful 30 Rock, and it's going to be Tina Fey, and it's probably most likely going to fail miserably under Tina Fey. And then they'll probably just kind of call it quits. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it just crushes. I have no idea.
I think we're missing the bigger story here. I think we're missing the bigger story here.
What's the bigger story?
The bigger story is that I know you're a fan of SNL, and we all are, and we realize their significance in comedy and entertainment history. But I think it's time to step aside. What was once radically nonconformist, daring, move fast and break things has become wildly predictable, stale, and so ideological that I don't think it's interesting anymore. And what I'm excited about is I think this nice little streaming company called FolkLOOR TV has a couple things in development that I think is going to turn all of that upside down. I don't want to reveal too much, but there's a high chance of awesomeness coming down the pipeline that I think that those guys over at FolkLOOR TV might just blow SNL out of the water. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think I have my suspicions. You're right, and I think that when those who once raged against the machine have now become the machine, there's no way for them to not just become the man. And
that's a great example. By the way, Rage Against the Machine is a good example of this.
Yeah, exactly. Rage Against the Machine, sponsored by Pfizer.
Brought to you by Moderna. Yeah.
So,
good.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. But that goes back to like what Jason was saying. It's like the end of an era, right? Like that sort of thing. But even at the end of eras, history repeats in different forms, right?
Yeah.
So if I were to like just look around and say, okay, Saturday Night Live aside, like what's the thing that's gonna replace it? Like hands down, I would say without any hesitation, the Austin comedy scene, Kill Tony, Joe Rogan's Mothership, like all that stuff that's happening in downtown Austin right now, I think is the replacement for that. It's completely different, right? Like right now it's just stand-up comedy, 60 seconds, that sort of thing. But I think over time, you're going to start to see sketch comedy and improv groups and stuff really rise to the top that came out of what Joe Rogan's doing over there in Austin. So
yeah, well, when they opened the Mothership with Roseanne Barr on, I knew that it was there was a new thing happening.
Yeah. I mean, comedy clubs are closing in LA, right? And they're closing in New York City. And I mean, Jason, me and you got the story of the time we went to the gay comedy club. And
I can't hold on.
Wait, you haven't heard this story, Sean? You haven't heard the story of the gay me and Jason at the gay comedy?
I'm unplugging
It wasn't.
Okay.
Are we back?
We're back.
Can I climb up to my trust tree? Okay.
Well, it's a safe space joke that's coming. So
Yeah,
Oh, I love safe space joke. Oh, it's a new segment, safe space joke.
So
Okay.
me and Jason, like 3 or 4 years ago, when we started traveling for lore, we would always make it a point that we would go to a comedy club, to whether it's open mic night or they have like a known name. We would just go to a comedy club in the city and sort of see, because that's really where you get this sense where culture is moving and stuff. We started in New York and saw really like anti-gay, anti-trans sort of comedy and anti-Biden jokes, and we were like, holy cow, like this is not at all what you would expect from a liberal comedy club scene in New York City. Were we in Brooklyn or something like? It was just,
Brooklyn.
it was just like, well, this is crazy. And
No
so then
sleep, right?
Yeah, so then we're like, all right,
Nope. Not
we're
to
gonna go
Brooklyn.
see we're gonna go see the comedy club in the Bible Belt of Nashville, Tennessee. And go ahead, Jason. You tell them what you told the
So
bartender.
we pull up and there's a big sign out front that says, "This is an LGBTQ plus designated safe space," on the door of the comedy club, and then we went in and there was a big rainbow flag over the bar, and so I walked up to the bartender and I just said, "Sanctuary, sanctuary." And he said, "That's not funny." I said, "Well, it kind of was though, right?" He's like, "No, not funny at all."
and then of course it was one of the worst improv shows we've been to.
People kept starting in on jokes and then stopping them because they realized, and one even said,
it crossed a safe space boundary.
"Yeah, they said I can't tell that joke
And so
here."
they were holding their punches, and it was it was
awful.
It was amazing. It was kind of amazing to watch, though. It was kind of like one of those things.
Yeah,
like this is.
I was enjoying it, but not because of the comedy.
That's exactly right. So yeah, that's our gay comedy club story. There.
Is this the first of a series?
Yeah, the first of a series.
I'm sure there'll be more. I'm sure.
Texted my wife and said, "Hey, I'm in a gay comedy club," and she said, "Not surprised."
Yeah.
Isn't that a redundancy?
We mean happy here, guys.
Happy?
Yeah,
I'm in a
happy. Yeah, it's a happy comedy club.
Happy here.
That's
It's happy comedy club.
That's what I think it meant. I'm gonna go in a happy comedy club.
One of the things that we always did when we were looking around for the place to go was look for the place that said they only had male and female bathrooms. Right. That's how we would pick our comedy clubs usually.
That's how we picked our cigar lounges.
Or cigar lounges too. Yeah.
Yeah. If it said like gay friendly bathrooms, we would just go, that is not the cigar lounge you want to go and hang out in. So yeah. So
makes it easy to sift.
Yeah, it does. It does. Well, let's I want to shift gears here a little bit. Well, first off, you have a trivia question.
I do. Yeah. Here's our trivia question of the week. What was the first sporting event ever covered by ESPN at launch? It was 1979. ESPN was a news station. The first thing they aired was SportsCenter. But what was the first live sporting event that they covered and put on ESPN?
I should know the answer to this.
You should. I just assumed you would.
Yeah, I have a guess, but that's going to be a good one. At the end of the show, we do the reveal on that one, right?
Yeah, right.
This is the gimmick we use to keep you all staying locked in.
Yeah, you can't hear till the very end.
I'll give a hint, and it is that ESPN started in Connecticut. I think if my answer is right,
Bristol, Connecticut.
That's relevant.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Good.
Right, so
narrowed it down to croquet and darts.
Well, and like the U.S. Cup sailing, you know.
That's a good trivia question. Okay.
We'll figure it out. Okay.
Victor wishes it was curling.
Sean,
it's not curling.
Yeah.
But it's a good guess.
You have fan mail.
I do. This one was my favorite. We got a ton this week. And by the
All
way,
the way in Italy.
yeah.
It's crazy. The postal service is so efficient.
Well, it is, and thanks, Jason, for faxing over a couple of those because
It's because Trump fired all those postal workers this week.
It suddenly started to work again.
oh, no, we're not going to get our mail for probably weeks now.
Yeah, no, I think we'll get it faster. Trump said he said if the postal service is losing money, why did we hire 180,000 new employees?
Oh my goodness! Well, I better read this before the mail delivery ends. This one comes from Kansas City. Anyways, this guy is Scott. Hey guys, my wife and I love your podcast. We used to commit. We used to commit to just only watching Joe Rogan and Rachel Maddow just to balance it out. You guys have way more beards than those two put together. So we're all in on lore. Love you. Keep up the good work, Scott and Kathy.
Amazing. I've been hoping to get to Rachel Maddow's beard level at some point. So I'm glad
that's another band name.
Yeah, it is.
Rachel Maddow's beard.
They're just the local opening band.
Maddow's beard.
They're actually, I'm looking it up right now. They're playing at Pappy and Harriet's in August. That's gonna be a great show.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We got to get Maddow's beard to write our closing song.
Yeah, Maddow's. I like that. We should just drop the Rachel. You're right. Maddow's beard. That's it.
Yeah, Maddow's beard.
Oh man, we've come up with so many great band names on this. What do they call this? A podcast?
Sean, did you want to go to Quiet Riot? I kind of wanted to go to the Kim Hill thing.
I mean, it's a toss up. They're two. Wow. Kim Hill.
Okay. Yeah. Let's Kim Hill. Jason, you teased us last week, so why don't you bring it back for us for all the listeners that were here last week?
So there's a really great mini documentary that about Kim Hill, who was the original singer for the Black Eyed Peas before she was replaced. And a lot of times people think that she was that somebody chose to replace her, but it's actually the story of why she quit. And it's a really brilliant little mini documentary. And I didn't know that I should have Kim Hill as a hero for standing up for what she believed in and being not letting her morality go in order to gain fame.
All right, so I don't want to play this whole thing, but guys, I don't have a time code for this. Do you remember where it was?
You could just anywhere, probably.
My sexuality and how much of that I was willing to expectations and pressure.
Personalities first before any gimmick and before any materialism.
The band was very specific about how we were looked at in.
Well, it's a 13-minute video. I don't want to play the whole thing, but
I think the beginning sets it up.
In the very beginning.
I think so, that it sets it up, and you can cut it out, and it gives it away.
Hey, well, I am. What's up, y'all? This is Taboo Nawasha. This Apple Diap.
Kim Hill, featured vocalist.
All right. Now, how would you describe the whole Black Eyed Peas musical concept?
Yeah, they got rid of the black girl, that they never made a part of the band, and then they got the white girl, and they made her a part, and they blew up. It's like, no, that's not how it happened.
Right there?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good tease.
Jason, explain to me how it happened.
Sean, do you want to take this one since you actually know Kim?
Yeah. Well,
you actually know Kim? Wait a minute. That's important information.
Yeah. Sometimes these things just reveal themselves. Well, I got to, so I had a show called Paved New World, and it was a lifestyle, sports, music, culture, youth culture show. and we were fans of the Black Eyed Peas, and so we ended up going behind the scenes while they recorded their album, the last album they did with Kim Hill, and interviewed the band. And this is when the guys were really down to earth, and they were really making declarations like, yeah, we just want to keep it real. We're not going to sell out. You know, we're not into that whole bling thing and the whole scene. And I really thought they were awesome. And I ended up forming a friendship with Kim and actually hiring her later to host some TV stuff for me. But I didn't know this part of the story about why she left. I thought she was just booted out. But this documentary, I think it's the only thing that the New York Times ever did that's any good. But it's a great documentary. But it really, what I love about it, Jason, you kind of teased it, is she stood up for her morals and her beliefs, and she was just like, look, I'm not going to support this hip hop objectifying women and the whole bling thing, because that wasn't what Black Eyed Peas were about. They were in that same camp as like Diggable Planets and Jurassic 5 and all that stuff. It was like that more kind of what the kids called backpack hip hop, but they were legit. And then they sold out. And she's like, I don't want to be a part of it. But then she had to sit there and watch them absolutely blow up, and Fergie
Right.
just because, yeah. So it's got a lot of emotion, that piece. It's what, 12 minutes, Jason? About 12?
Yeah, 13 minutes.
Yeah, 13 minutes.
Yeah. So I encourage everybody, we'll put it up wherever we put it up on the interweb. But watch that, because it's pretty cool to see a woman just say, I'm not backing that. And it stung, but she stuck to her guns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
I
ends
think
with an awesome, like, shot of her and her son. And she's sitting with her son saying, I got everything I need. I didn't get that, but I got everything I need right
in a
here. And
small
her son.
house. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's awesome because it's the opposite. You see, we do tend to glorify people that sacrifice everything that's valuable for fame. And it's a great story to see somebody sacrifice fame for something way more important.
Yeah, and that's what's beautiful about that story, is it comes back to family. That's the most important thing. And I like Victor's comment. It's kind of like Pete Best watching the Beatles blow
Yeah.
up. But probably even worse, because when you think about the media landscape now, I mean, she probably couldn't turn on the radio or the TV without seeing or hearing the Black Eyed Peas with Fergie.
No, that's right. Well, when you watch it, like she was very passionate about hip hop being transcending sort of like this objectification sort of club sort of thing that it was, and then the producers came, the record labels came and said, look, if you guys want to be successful, you got to start wearing tight outfits, and you got to start grinding on Will.I.am. And she's like, that's not our relationship at all. This is a brother sister relationship I have with Will.I.am. Like it's not gonna happen. And she courageously left. But I mean, like on the same flip side of the coin, it's like, but Will.I.am and those other guys stayed. Right? Like
Yeah.
they stayed. They probably went to, maybe, I don't know, Diddy parties, all this sort of stuff. But the point is, like, that casting couch moment, like, is so abundant in Hollywood. Like, it's everywhere. Like, I'm sure every artist, every major artist, especially once you get to, like, the A tier, like that class, they all have baggage in order to get there, from the CIA, admittedly, but still, like, they agreed to it.
Not the U.S. Post Office.
Yeah,
No.
not the U.S. Post
Yeah.
Office, but they all agreed to it. And it's really cool to see someone that was like, yeah, I'm not going to do it, and stood her ground. And she'd probably be a multi-million. I mean, she would be a multi-millionaire now. Like, I mean, just no question about it. But that I think is why lore is so important, because there's all these artists out there that are insanely talented that just can't get a shot because they have a moral backbone, because they have courage, and they're not going to sacrifice their family and stuff for those sort of things. And so I think that's really It's just a really great documentary. Really glad you guys presented it to it. The name of the documentary, by the way, I'll pull it up in case anybody wants to go back and watch it.
I was in the Black Eyed Peas, then I quit. Right?
Yeah. I was in the
that's
Black
it.
Eyed Peas, and then I quit. Yep.
Yeah, right. Yep. So, yeah, go and watch that. It's a really encouraging story to know that, even with us in the streaming business, like the fame, isn't like the number one thing. It's about artists who are created, to be able to tell stories and just giving them a platform to do that. So,
Yeah. I like seeing some of the guesses, by the way, rolling in from all over the world. It looks like about the ESPN's first sport. You've really stirred the pot on this one, Jason.
I did. Yeah.
I haven't seen this kind of a reaction on a trivia question quite like this. We get more sports.
Yeah. That's what I'm realizing.
He wishes it was curling.
Yeah, curling. One of them. Yeah, we could do a whole episode on curling.
There's a pretty amazing, if you read the story of the first ice hockey television deal, you learn really quickly why ice hockey never became a big deal in America.
Oh,
It's a foreign game.
I know, because we watched the whole game last night with USA and Canada, and I was bored out of my mind.
That's why they had to add fighting.
Right.
Yeah. I was like, "Where's the puck? I cannot see it. I cannot see it." And then, like, I don't know if you guys know, but like that yellow yard line on football, that makes football amazing. That technology was actually first developed for hockey to track the puck, and they did it. And everybody got mad about it. And while I was watching the game last night, I was like, why did you guys get mad about this?
Because you couldn't find the puck.
Needed. Those guys were absolutely right. Like, they shoot the puck at like 100 miles an hour. Like, it's like this big, and like it's impossible to track. Like, why would you not want that? I don't know. So, but yeah, we lost that game, and I'm never watching hockey ever again. So
you got to watch the movie Miracle. That'll make you love hockey.
Did you see the ad? Did you see the ad they made for that game? They cut the speech from the coach in Miracle with the players sitting in the locker room, and they recut it, and like ESPN did it. And it was like the most patriotic American thing I've ever seen in my life. And they're all doing this because of the Canada, America, Trump 51st state sort of thing. It was amazing. It was amazing. Like, I shared it and said, whoever made this ad voted for Trump. It's got like 100,000 views on Twitter. Just like, might retweet it.
That's amazing. Victor wants us to start putting curling on lore, and I'm all for it.
Hey, Victor. Yeah. Victor, I want to tell you, I've got a Tanya Harding story, but I have to tell you off air. and truthfully, I do have a Wayne Gretzky story that I'll tell next week that I think.
Okay, all right. I'll make sure to remember to make sure you tell that story.
But the Tanya Harding story off air, Wayne Gretzky on air.
All right.
Well, if you are familiar with Victor, he's a great actor. He's a very talented actor. I've gotten a chance to work with him a couple times. He also has some artistically gifted sons.
Hey, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Sorry,
we'll get to that.
Can't get to it yet.
Yeah. No, that's coming. That news.
That's coming.
It's coming at the end of the episode. First, we have to talk about this Wall Street Journal article, though.
Oh yeah.
This blew my mind.
Now, Sean brought this to us, which is just I'm just gonna say it. It just goes to show that we've kind of been like ahead of the curve for like the past 4 or 5 years. Like, we've really seen where things are going. So the article is from the Wall Street Journal. Can you guys see it?
Yeah. Yep. How deep is your lore?
An old English word has a new currency on social media where people are enshrining personal traumas and minor gossip as essential knowledge. Sean, why don't you summarize this article for us?
Well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but the thing I got out of it was lore is the most popular Oxford Dictionary word of 2024, which I don't know how that's voted on, but
I think people are just trying to figure out why we named lore. And
well, I could ask that question.
All those results are just from people trying to figure out like what lore means.
Now, if they want the answer, read this article. And then there's this girl who's got a lot of followers on TikTok that breaks down why the word lore is so meaningful to Gen Z. Anyways, I don't know. I'll let you guys take it from there because I'm still stunned by it.
I'm pulling it up right now. I actually have the video.
Oh yeah. Let's look at her video.
This one was fascinating.
You think you know what lore means, but do you understand how Gen Z uses it? To sound like a Gen Z native speaker, you need to learn these 3 collocations: having lore, dropping lore, and dad lore. Here, having lore means sharing a wealth of interesting experiences together that most people don't know the details of. An individual can also have lore if they have a mysterious and interesting life story. Someone's lore is hidden, but can be uncovered, often through conversation. Secondly, dropping lore is revealing an anecdote about someone or something's past which was not previously known to the listener. For example, last night Owen dropped the craziest lore about David. Or, new lore just dropped about David. This brings us to dad lore and the jokes that surround it. Since fathers tend to open up less to their children, the joke is that they will casually reveal some shocking anecdote from their past, leaving their kids struck by how little they know about their dad's life story. Like this: dad lore is low-key the craziest thing because you get it. You could even use lore in your next briefing. If a brand has lore, then it has a complex, rich history, good or bad. If it has no lore, then it is flat, new, or uninteresting. Now, you're in the know.
I love
TikTok channel. She has a whole TikTok channel just explaining Gen Z vocabulary.
It's amazing.
She's great. She's super smart. Although the only thing I want to criticize is she spelled lore wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's
L-O-O-R. It's L-O-O-R.
Yeah. I tried to instant message her, but she
maybe we should just change. We should just change loot to lore. And that way you can drop some lore on some content.
You can drop some lore. I like that.
Wow.
Yeah, makes sense.
I've been thinking that we need a show called Dad Lore. That it's a dad who just shares a story with his kids in passing, and then you go back and see the story that he told, like How I Met Your Mother. It could be. When my dad was dying of cancer, all his brothers came, and I suddenly learned all of my dad's lore that I had no idea.
Save your
my uncle goes,
the Mormons will steal them.
Yeah, it's true. No, we're sitting there with my dad in bed, and my uncle's sitting there, and he goes, "Hey, remember that time we hitchhiked down to Mexico to buy that big bag of weed and then lost it on the way home?" And I was like, "Wait, what? Dad, you're an accountant. What's going on?" And so I got to hear this story about my dad smoking too much weed and forgetting where he stashed the bag while he was
smuggling it over the border.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. The best part was I ended up finding out. Ended up meeting the person who found that marijuana. And they ended up taking it to Joan Baez's house and smoking it with Bob Dylan. Totally true story. Completely true story.
This story just keeps getting. Then what happened?
It's lore. That was Joan Baez's first marijuana. Was the marijuana my dad lost on the beach down in California.
That's some serious lore right there.
It is.
That's
real lore.
Santa Cruz? Is this Santa Cruz folklore?
It is Santa Cruz folklore. It's true.
Wow. I hate Ashbury's backyard.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. And by the way, I'm sorry for your loss. I feel bad we're laughing, but I guess it's okay.
It's okay.
All right,
It was
all right, Jason. Speaking of dad lore, let's talk about Victor's kids.
Oh, yes. So Victor's kids, they have YouTube channels that are
Do you want the names of the channels? I have them.
the names of the exact names of the channels. Yes.
Yes. So the first one is the Chill Hunters.
The Chill Hunters.
And then the second one is the Chill Animations.
Chill Animations. So Chill Hunters is their...
Victor, how old is your kids? Post that in the chat if you're still with us.
And Chill Hunters, the animation, you need to know, I was the second YouTube subscriber on that channel. So I have been following these young, talented kids for a number of years now and looking forward to what they're going to do. Have talked through storytelling with them and given them feedback and talked through different story ideas they had. I'm really excited about the future of this great group of young kids animating.
I don't have the photo, but you remember the photo they took of, well, first off, let me just say some things about these kids. First off, they bought all the lore merchandise, and that's what they wanted for Christmas, was like 3X size lore shirts that they could sleep in for pajamas. And so there's this photo of like them in like these really big lore merch shirts. And then the second thing was they actually, I believe they mowed the lawn so that they could earn loot. They could buy loot to fund the first episode of Barely Biblical.
Yeah, in order to put Barely Biblical over the top.
That's right.
They put the first episode over the top. They got paid to mow the lawn in loot so they could put episode 1.
And now the big news is that these kids and their YouTube channel, Chill Hunters and Chill Animations, are sponsoring almost site-wide blitz mode that's going to put up Prey. It's going to put up Subclass, Esoterra to completion. So those shows, and including, they're going to blitz mode the entire season of Fleur de Lis.
Amazing.
The second season. So that is what's happening. That blitz mode will start next week. And so you'll get 2x loot on every purchase that you make in the store that goes towards those projects. I think I'm missing one. Subclass, Esoterra,
and Feltboard Sunday School.
Feltboard Sunday School. That's part of Chill Animation. And then the other one, Beards and Bikes. They're gonna
and Beards and Bikes, yeah.
So those are the shows that are going to be blitzed starting next week, and it's all thanks to that kid's YouTube channel. So
go check it out.
Says it's massive lore.
And it's been amazing to watch them learn to animate in public and put up as they go what they're doing. It's really fun to watch, and they are some of the most some kids that just commit themselves to a craft. Watching them put on their YouTube channel as they learn to play guitar, and it's such a fun thing to watch them work so hard at just artistic endeavors. Great kids.
I just want to say that, like, the fact that kids can come and sponsor a show on Lore to advertise their YouTube channel really is what Lore is all about. Like, you talk about like indie, just underground. You have these kids who are just making content on their YouTube channel. They're learning how to tell stories and stuff, and they just want to use. They want to fund other artists and get their name out there and their YouTube channel out there. So just right now, just subscribe to the Chill Animations and the Chill Animation and the Chill Hunters.
If you remember at Christmas, they did an animation the night before Loot Day.
They did do that.
Yeah, they did that. It's one of the best commercials we've ever had. It was made by them.
Twas the night before
Loot Day.
Yeah. I can't wait to see this.
That's awesome. Yeah. So be sure to subscribe to their channel. And Victor says everybody should watch The Night Before Loot Day. It was all the kids who did it. So just really cool to see that family come together and just promote their own channel and stuff and support other artists on Lore and doing that. It's really really cool. I like the vibe. I like the vibe of it.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, has the band finished their song yet?
It is writing it right now. Should I give the answer to our trivia question?
Yes,
So,
answer the trivia question.
what was the first sporting event ever covered by ESPN at launch? In
Can I guess?
1979, they covered the 1979 slow pitch softball World Series game between the Milwaukee Schlitzes and the Kentucky Bourbons.
I just
Come on, you gotta be
I just
kidding
want to
me.
apologize for the Connecticut hint. It had absolutely nothing. I was completely wrong. Honestly,
What was
thought it
great though?
No, I thought
is
it
it-
was lacrosse.
Oh, that would have made sense.
Yeah,
that would have
yeah.
made a lot of sense.
That would have made sense.
They couldn't get their first year. They couldn't get the rights to any other live sports. Nobody else would give them the rights. They actually tried to do hockey, and hockey said no. And they ended up with the 1979 slow pitch softball, and it got them the largest single ad buy up till that point in history from Anheuser-Busch. After they did it, they said, whatever your next sporting event is you cover, we want to sponsor it. So Anheuser-Busch paid the largest ad buy ever in response to how well they covered the 1979 slow pitch softball World Series between the Milwaukee Schlitzes and the Kentucky Bourbons. I thought that was that story amazed me. I loved it.
Wow. Remember Schlitz beer? Is that still around?
No, Schlitz malt liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. I never drank it though.
I would have never guessed that. Marcus, would you have guessed that trivia answer?
The Chill Hunters have entered the chat.
Yeah, Chill Hunters, everybody.
Oh,
Thanks for the shout out. I just want to say where'd it go? There we go. Thanks for the shout out. Thank you for the blitz mode. No, I was gonna say it was like lacrosse or something, but I was just completely off.
I thought it was bowling.
Okay, I'll say this though. What's really amazing about it, while we're waiting for the band,
is uploading as we speak.
Okay, great. I think what's really great is that all these major billion-dollar brands, all these multi-billion-dollar IPs, obviously ESPN is part of Disney, like they really didn't have anything when they launched. Like especially all these cable TV brands, like the cable TV companies.
HBO.
Yeah, they're like, you got to fill 24 hours.
Think about it. MTV didn't own one piece of content when they launched.
It's amazing.
And they didn't have one sync licensing agreement with any of the labels.
I've told that to lore investors. I said the value proposition of MTV was that they didn't buy content; it was given to them, which is exactly how lore works. It's in Slack. All right.
Well, they didn't succeed overnight, but that
was their first $10 million investor.
The ESPN's a good.
Was when an investor asked MTV and said, "What do you mean you don't have to pay for any of this music?" And they said, "Well, they give it to us to promote the album sales." And the guy just pulled out his checkbook and wrote a $10 million check. Like there was only 100 music videos in existence at the time when MTV started. So, I mean, it's insane. So, Jason, what is the name of this song?
The name of this song is Life's Playbook.
Life's Playbook. And, but the bigger question is, where did it download to?
This
just
part of the show is
downloaded
my
it.
favorite. Where we just go
Clacker 3021 says, "Hey." Thanks,
Hey,
chat.
Hey,
That's my fault. I was looking for a song, but it's a video.
that's nice.
Culture Warfare with John Croft.
Thousands of
John
people in
Croft,
the-
filmmaker. Oh, here we go.
Life rolls out like a tale untold. Fast pitch softball, both stories unfold. Tomorrow we've been striving but fame denied. Saturday Night Live 50, strong and wild. Wild. Snail mail rhymes with whispers of the past. Rachel's beer, mystery here at last. Chill hunters roam where the cool winds blow, seeking what's hidden in the shadows they know. Let's shout out loud for the lives we live, even when unnoticed we got so much to give. Saturday Night Live, turning 50 tonight. Underneath the stage lights, we all reunite.
All right, guys. Thank you guys, everybody, for joining us on this show. Well, we got a great band, don't we?
Great band.
I can't wait. I can't wait till we can start
Yeah.
selling the box set.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Be sure to like and share this podcast, and tell your friends about it. We're